It is great again to see everybody live. This is pretty crazy. Yeah, I take a... And even though we're not, I guess, actually wearing masks, because I didn't see anybody really come in with one, I'll be really happy to get rid of this thing once and for all, because there's still places you go, like I went into the grocery store, I think I was the only one in there without a mask, so I quickly, I kind of like put it back on. But eventually I'm going to burn this thing. But I am going to keep these things forever, because these are really kind of nice, aren't they? And you've got one at your place. Take one. It's got the Chambers logo on there. Keep your hands nice and clean. Thank you, Steve. If you could silence your cell phones, please. We haven't had to do this in a while. Keep your cell phone on quiet. I just wanted to thank you all again for being here. And if you're on the Chambers board, if you're a current member of the board, if you could stand and be recognized, because I appreciate all you guys do for us. Steve, that would be you. Ben, that would not be you at this point. He was trying to stand. How about a round of applause for these folks? I like that. All right, so that's really all I've got to do. I'll give some announcements at the end, but I'm going to turn things over right now to someone who has the actual distinction of maybe being the only past chair and current chair that we've ever had. Steve was chair when I first started, and he whistled so well to keep people quiet that we just had to bring him back. So I'd like to introduce Steve Aquino of Aquino Financial Group and the current chair of the board. Steve Aquino.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, and I know it's the only reason why it was because of the whistle. So that's why I had to do it today. So I apologize if that was too loud for everybody. Now, but again, good afternoon and welcome. And as Mike said, I'm Steve Aquino of Aquino Financial Group, and I'm honored to be serving as the chair of the board this year for the chamber. And yes, this is my 10 years later of doing it again. Just a quick little story. So 10 years ago. I always got to bring it up, because Dr. Casey, it kills me. I still have nightmares about it. So 10 years ago, it was back. I'll never forget. It was St. Patrick's Day, and we were doing an event up at the college, McDaniel College, and it was one of our first things going through. Mike gives me a script literally 5 minutes before the event, so I go up there, to try to go through and try to get through the whole entire thing. Now, half of the words I couldn't pronounce, because if anybody saw Dr. Case's, bio, it's very lengthy and long, a lot of different countries and things like that. It's very hard to even know the country and even know how to pronounce it. So he threw me under the bus with that, first of all, with having a lot of spelled things wrong in there. So I'll never forget that. So 10 years later, I am back here again, and I promise I will do my best not to butcher anything for either one of you when I introduce you. Okay. So with that being said, we'll move on here. So I'm excited that we can be here in person, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do these types of gatherings again without the masks on and being outside and doing a lot of fun things and a lot of the fun events that Chamber has been able to bring in the past. So I'm very excited with that. First, I'd like to thank Outlaw Barbecue. Obviously, everybody's got their little thing there, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I'd like to thank them for the food, and I'd like to thank Best Western for providing the facility today. So thank you very much to both of you. Round of applause. I'd also like to thank CMC for streaming the meeting that's now being streamed through live. So thank you very much for that, and we'll hear from Richard in just a moment. We do have sponsors for the event today. The first sponsor that we have that will be coming up momentarily to speak would be Crawford Yingling Insurance. We have Ben Yingling, who's going to be speaking on their behalf. Like I just said before, we have CMC, the Community and Media Center, and yes, Mike asked me to be the sponsor for today too. So you're going to be able to hear from me actually what I do during the day, not when I'm here as chair of the board for the chamber. I'd, at this point, like to recognize our elected officials and dignitaries who are here with us today. The first one I believe is not here, but who we do have here is Commissioner Dennis Frazier. If you please stand. We have Westminster City Council member Ann Gilbert. And now former Westminster City Councilman, Mr. Ben Yingling. Former, right? Former, right. Pay attention, Ben. Killing me. We have former Tawnytown Mayor Jim McCarron, also on our board. Did I miss any other elected officials out there? All right. Now I'll go through all the past chairs of the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce, and when I announce your name, please stand.
Steve Aquino of Aquino Financial Group.
I guess I have to announce myself. Yeah, thanks, Mike. We have Lynn Wheeler, Director Emeritus of Carroll County Libraries. Suzette Koval of Farmers and Merchants Bank. We have Dave Bollinger of Barnes Bollinger Insurance Services. Thanks, Dave. Ben likes this. Ben Yingling of Crawford Yingling Insurance. No, this is not the Ben Yingling show. We have Steve Wantz of Carroll Community College. And Mike already had the board, the current board of the Chamber of Commerce already stand. We will now hear briefly from today's sponsors, as I mentioned before. Our first sponsor's message will be given by Ben Yingling of Crawford Yingling Insurance. Ben?
I wanted to go last, but Steve, as chairman of the board, he can veto that, so I understand. So, well, good afternoon. It's great to see everybody in person. I am Ben Yingling, the president of Crawford Yingling Insurance, and gosh, how things have changed over the last 14 months. I want to welcome Dr. Casey, Dr. Jasken. I'm honored to be able to sponsor this luncheon to celebrate a fantastic transition. You know, we talk about change, and it can be very stressful. It can be scary, but at the same time exciting. And over the past year, I think all of us in the room went through those emotions. You know, but change is the force that really moves organizations forward. And I wanted to reflect a little bit on how we as a company moved forward during COVID. So for all of you that did not know, I bought the company from my father in November. He is in Myrtle Beach right now, but he's still involved with the company. He actually works harder now that I'm not paying him than when I was paying him. I don't know how that works. We hired two amazing, talented, young individuals to join our team. Justin Chapin, who is a graduate of McDaniel College, and he's actually walking on Saturday for his graduation. And then Carly Cofield's been with us for 9 months, a rising star at our organization. I think most importantly, though, COVID gave us the time to reflect on how we ran our business, and so we developed a mission statement, and it's guiding and protecting all generations. So we're all here to celebrate a change in leadership, to look back on the past and look to the future. And it's funny because I've used change a lot in this first minute, and you know, one of McDaniel's mottos, the college that changes lives. You know, and I'd like to discuss, you know, the impact that McDaniel has had, you know, on this business that I run here in town, because it is profound. So early in Dr. Casey's tenure, he talked about the need to kind of change the student education experience, and among other things, his leadership team developed the McDaniel Commitment. And part of the McDaniel Commitment was to assuring students would have a real-life job experience when they graduated. We, Crawford Yingling Insurance, took full advantage of the opportunity. Sabrina Donick is a project engineer at a large Swedish construction conglomerate right now. Cole Ostendarp is a marketing manager for Stanley Black & Decker. Katie Orzalak is a graphic design freelancer. Raina Wise is a Thermont Middle School teacher. Victoria R. Salesi, a communication analyst with a large engineering firm in Hartford County. Justin Chapin, who started as an intern, is my marketing manager. And right now, this week, we offered an internship to Evan Fletcher, who's going to be a senior, to help out with the messaging for some of our marketing. You know, these are the individuals, you know, over the past 5 years, 6 years, that revamped our marketing efforts, increased our technical efficiencies to enhance our client experience, and helped us guide how we were going to protect our next generation of customers. And they are the next generation of leaders. McDaniel College and the McDaniel Commitment provided us access to this raw pool of talent. And you know, so change is a great thing. You know, McDaniel College really does change lives. It changed mine while I was a student, because I was so well behaved. But it's still impacting my business today. I mean, I see, you know, I'm just so grateful for that McDaniel commitment. And I'm really excited to see what Dr. Jasken, you're going to do for the next generation of McDaniel College students, because those are the people that are going to continue to have a profound impact on businesses like mine. And I want to thank Dr. Roger Casey for your leadership, and Dr. Julia Jasken, congratulations on being named the 10th president of McDaniel College. And thank you very much.
Don't take my stuff. Thank you very much, Ben. Okay, so next I'd like to bring up Richard Turner, the Executive Director of the Community Media Center, to say a few words. Richard, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. You should have followed Ben's advice and let him go second, because that was quite eloquent and quite a testimony for the kind of contribution that we experience in our community. Change is important because it will continue with or without us. And I want to add one more to the list, which is Aaron Chizano, who happens to be back in the bar right now. He's one of our staff members and a graduate of McDaniel, was an intern for us first. This is even before my time. And he's kind of the heart and passion of what we do in our community, because he's not only skilled at being a manager and a storyteller through television and media, but he understands the community and the importance of the connection to the community. And that was fostered, I believe, in what we experienced at McDaniel, what he experienced at McDaniel. So it's great to have the number of interns that have come our way that make it possible for us to do the kinds of things that we do, of being able to bring the stories that happen out in our community through the Community Media Center, through our channels, through channels 1086, on streaming on live, through our websites and YouTube, et cetera. Media is shifting. That's one of the changes that we're experiencing, great shifts. And so we are appreciative of the support that happens from our commissioners to the people in our community to use us as a resource, to tell the stories that happen, share the good things that happen within our community. So that's why it's a pleasure to be the streaming partner with the Chamber and try to get all the good words out about the businesses, what we need to have happen in our community, what happens in government. You will find those on our channels. And that's also an opportunity for you to come in and use us as a resource to get those stories out, whether you're working with your nonprofits or your boards. We have our historical societies coming up shortly. At the end of June, we'll be having a virtual gala so that we can support their mission and helping them raise funds. And so we hope to work with other nonprofits in that regard as well. So I want to thank our crew, thank all of you, and this great network of folks, and it's a pleasure to be here. Tune in, watch, like, subscribe, share, and as Mike says, buy local. I encourage you to watch local. All right, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate it. All right, so our third sponsor of the day is Aquino Financial Group. Okay, this is a great opportunity for me to be a sponsor today. It was actually almost 25 years ago exactly that I graduated from McDaniel College. I actually started my business up. I took a week off. I think it was June 3rd of 1996 that I started to be a financial advisor here in Carroll County. So as an independent, advisor, I was young, I was from New Jersey, I had a strong accent, which I'm somewhat losing a little bit of. I knew nobody, and I thought to myself, this is gonna be rough. But it's interesting how I look back today, from that graduation date to where I am now, and see how Carroll County took me in with love. I made incredible relationships, grew a small local business, immersed myself into the community, had an incredible family growing up in Carroll County. There was a lot of things, and now I'm sitting here as the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, introducing two incredible people from my alma mater. It's funny how things all work out and come together, and I can't believe it's been 25 years. It's still crazy to me. I know, it's true. But, Aquino Financial Group, just real brief of, who I am and what I do, because I know I've been able to meet a lot of people out there. They know me as being, part of a lot of different organizations. So this is a good opportunity just to say, just a quick little thing that, Aquino Financial Group is a small, local, independent wealth management firm here in Carroll County. Our mission is, as Ben has his mission, our mission is to develop long-term personal relationships by empowering and leading our client family in fulfilling their lifetime financial dreams and goals. So we deal with people in all stages of life, whether they're just getting married, just graduated from college, whether they're getting prepared for retirement, whether they're in retirement helping small businesses, or anything in between. I am a registered investment advisor and a fiduciary where we help our clients plan, build, and protect their financial futures. So we put together comprehensive financial plans, put the investment side to it, and as an independent, we're not proprietary in any specific investment companies, insurance carriers, or any of those types of things that are out there. We try to find what's in the best interest of our clients. We do have a team of experts, but most importantly, what we try to do is build relationships. We look at everyone that comes through our door as part of our client family, and that's very important to us. We look at the long term. We look at how can we help families, how can we help build wealth, how can we help provide that financial independence. So, that's kind of a little bit of what we do, taking it on a personal side of it, not just on the number side of it, what a lot of advisors do out there. So that's what I do at Aquino Financial Group. So there's my quick little, was that short enough for you, Mike?
Very good.
All right, good. After Ben, he told me I had to shorten it up a little bit, so. All right, thank you, I appreciate it. So as an alumni of McDaniel College, class of '96, it's an honor and privilege to be able to serve as the chair and have this opportunity to introduce our presenters for today from McDaniel College. When I sat down, they did ask me to shorten it up so I don't mess anything up. So I'm going to make it the abbreviated version of their bio, and I'm sure you can find their bio anywhere. Just actually call them and get to know them. So first, I'd like to introduce Dr. Roger Casey, and then after that, he'll be introducing Dr. Julia Jasken. I'd like to thank you both so much for being here today and presenting for us. We thank you for all that you've done for us over the years, being a part of the community and a partner of the Chamber, and we look forward to continuing that relationship on with you. So thank you very much, and Dr. Casey, it's all yours.
So before I get started here, I want to do two things, because this is the first time in 14 months, and we were just talking about this at our table, that I've actually been up in front of three-dimensional people. So this will make me feel a lot more comfortable because I'm going to talk to you on Zoom, because I know all of you have gotten a lot more comfortable. My third dimension increased during the COVID thing. The second thing I need to do, I need to use my Apple Pay device to pay off Ben and Steve for their intros and saying so many good things about our college. But thank you both so much for the gracious comments. But it is, I think we're all excited today, and it's not because Julia and I are talking. I mean, it is so wonderful to be with a group of folks and maskless, and we think about the incredible challenges that we've been through over the past, it seems like a year and a half, but it hasn't actually been a year and a half. From the time that Julia and I were sitting in a room after having had a couple of national conversations with the CDC and other organizations and saying, oh, we got to close. We just have to close. There's just no alternative because when you start trying to work out the variables of keeping people well, and people living in community with each other, last March we realized that you can't do this. We're really for everyone's safety. And to go from there, and then by this fall to figure out how do we bring back 1,000 residential students? How do we keep them safe? How do we literally rebuilt a college, and so many of you in your organizations, you rebuilt your organizations over this past year. We can't just crawl under a rock and go, oh, we've got this pandemic. We'll come out, later on. We can't be cicadas, It would be really nice. 17 months, we go underground, we come back out, Except we don't want to be pestilent to people when we come back out. But, that we couldn't all afford to do that. But we all figured out how to do this. We figured out how to do it. And the greatest lesson certainly I think I've learned in this pandemic is the critical importance of community. And that lesson has absolutely been the case up on the Hill. And we have done things that I just didn't think we knew how to do, because we didn't know how to do them. We started from scratch. We learned how to do them. I've seen people do remarkable things, and their commitment has been absolutely remarkable. And that's the same reality in terms of our partnership with our community. I look around the room here, and I see so many people who've been such an important part of not only the last 14 months, but certainly the last 11 years that I've been here. And for the past 150 more years that our college has been here. We've been rooted in this community and been such a part of you. When I first came here 11 years ago, Robin and I we're just amazed by the incredible openness of people in the community, how you reached out to us and made us a part here. You know, I could tell like 20 stories from looking at different individuals here in the room, but I particularly want to tell one with Beth Tavis came to see me about a weekend. I think it was a weekend to the job. And, you know, we had this Boys and Girls Club down the hill from the college. And I've been very familiar with the Boys and Girls Club from my previous institution, and actually the National Chair of Boys and Girls was on my board there. And we had a fence between our college and the Boys and Girls Club. And several people told me that the fence has a gate on it and it's locked. And it's, you know, and so I thought, how can this be? You know, we want to create a greater partnership with the community. How could it possibly be? So I went down to look at this fence, and actually it wasn't true at all. The fence lock had been welded shut. I mean, it wasn't. It was welded. It wasn't locked. And we said, we got to tear this thing down. And we tore that fence down, and we put up steps that led to the Boys and Girls Club, and we strengthened a partnership. I look at what's happened with the Boys and Girls Club and its new facilities and all the young people in this community who've been impacted by that. And that's just one story, and it's a beautiful metaphorical story, I think, of the kind of opportunities that we have when we partner with the people in the community. So, and again, I apologize that I could tell 20 stories like that today about those kinds of opportunities. But I want to thank you so much for those, because one thing you learn quickly as a college president, I'm sure those of you CEOs have learned this too, is that you can't do anything by yourself. I mean, you absolutely cannot get anything done by yourself. It's all about the people in the organization. It's all about the partnerships. It's nice most days of the week when you're a college president, because you know you get a chance to represent those people and you're the face of those people and so forth. Of course, you're the face of everything that goes wrong too, and you're responsible for that as well. But it is really wonderful to be able to tell those stories, to hear those stories. You know, the stories I've been is telling of our graduates. That's the greatest success story in the world when you're in my job, when you're in Julia's job, is the chance to see the people that become part of your community, the people we exist for, our students, go out and do great things. And, you know, got two great alumni here, and we're incredibly proud of what you've done and giving back to the community. Robin and I worked on also starting an organization called McDaniel in Maine. Because one of the other things I found 11 years ago, one of the first things that I did, first couple of days we were on campus, I walked around campus and I came back and I sat down with the senior leadership team and I said, you know, I'm pretty convinced the name of the college is Do Not Park Here. Because you walked all around our campus and all you saw were signs that said no parking, you know. No parking, no parking, or towing zone, towing zone, towing zone. I said, what are the messages, you know, that we're conveying to our community? And then I took a walk up from the college all the way up Main Street to the other end of town, come back on the other side of Main Street, and I saw maybe 2 McDaniel signs. And I remember going to Kevin Utz and saying, because he was mayor then, and I said, you know, I walked all over Main Street and I saw like 2 signs that said McDaniel, and that's my problem. That's not your problem, that's my problem. We're going to work to really change this. We're going to work to try to figure out more ways that we can get connected to our community. And certainly you heard testimony this morning about one of them, which is our curricular approach in the McDaniel commitment. And I'm really excited because the chief architect of that was our provost, and Julia is our provost and is about to become the 10th president of the college. So I give our board a lot of credit, because a lot of times colleges, they go and they do these national searches and they look far and wide and they try to find this person who is like, you know, the next great national leader, and, you know, is going to bring the college and going to change this and going to change that. Well, the good news is Julia will do all of that, but she happened to be right here. You know, she happened to be our provost, and really that kind of succession planning is something that doesn't happen on a lot of college boards. There are colleges in the state who've gone through 6 presidencies in the 11 years that I've been here. And some of you might be graduates of those, so I apologize if that's the case. But, you know, consistency and leadership is one of the strongest ways that we can really bring our college forward. So some of the things that I think we're most proud of in the past 11 years are those partnerships that we've created. One of the others we're really proud of is access and affordability. College costs a lot of money these days, and thanks again to a lot of support and a lot of partnerships that we have, we've been able to create opportunities for students who financially initially might look at a college like ours and go, I can't afford to go there. How can I possibly go there? And this past year, we put over $50 million of financial aid on the table to make that possible. And that's a lot of people's blood, sweat, and tears and giving back to our school that really made that a possibility for these students. But we have created access and affordability for those who don't have the economic means, and we've really tried to also focus on middle-class families. Because sometimes middle-class families, with the financial aid that's available federally at the state level, they get squeezed out of that. And many of you in this room have sent kids to college. You may know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not eligible for this need-based aid. How do I get dollars to make it possible for my kids to be able to get the kind of education they want? So we started a couple of legacy programs, we call them. And our first one was a $100,000 legacy scholarship for anybody who's the child of a K through 12 full-time employee. So we essentially cut the cost of college in half for the children of teachers, and not just teachers, anybody who works full-time in the school district. You know, you can be in the custodial staff, you could drive the bus, whatever it is that you do full-time if you're in K through 12. And so we have over 100 students in this year's entering class who come to us through that project. And then we launched a project for military families. We did the exact same thing. We replicated it. So the children of current military or former military get an opportunity, again, $100,000 over 4 years. Many of these families, they have yellow ribbon benefits because they've been veterans, but that only applies for one kid for 4 years. And so you get 2 children, what do? Send one for 2 years, give your money to another one for 2 years, so it really doesn't go all the way through. And we've also created that same scholarship program for the children of our alumni. So if you qualify for being able to get admitted to the college, you automatically get this money. And people all the time are asking me, well, there's a catch to this. You know, there's no catch. You know, there's no hook. There's no anything else. But between the access and affordability opportunities we've created probably the most diverse organization in all of Carroll County. And we are very proud of that. Because diversity is the reality of our country's future. The demographics of this country are changing dramatically, and those of us who are equipped to have organizations that can work in that world are going to be the ones that are going to be the most successful. And that's a world in which we really have prided ourselves that we, I think, have really accomplished a whole lot in the community. And I think we have some things that we can share and that we can teach to other people in the community and in higher education about the work that we've done, because it is work. I mean, it is hard work trying to create equity, access, and affordability and opportunity for everyone in this country, particularly generations of young people now who look a lot different than I did and come from a lot different background than I did. I'm the first person in my family to graduate college. No one had ever gone to school before. And in the time period that I went to college, a lot of first-generation college students, they looked like me. Now, those first-generation students are quite often people of color, and they're often people who are the children of immigrants. And they've come to America because they want to create greater opportunity. And I'm really excited that we're a college that creates that opportunity for them. And I think we have a lot to be able to offer this community in terms of trying to encourage those graduates to stay and be a part of building a greater Carroll County. So we're excited about that possibility in terms of our partnership in the future as well. So I want to thank all of you for everything that you've done to make this past 11 years great. Colleges are always going through transitions. Students are generally there for 4 years. At least you hope they're there for 4 years when you send your kids to college. You know, administrators come and go. Many of our faculty are there for 30, 40. We celebrated Ethan Seidel's 52nd year, and he's retiring this year. I mean, people who make an incredible difference. Saturday at graduation, I'm going to recognize 397 years of service to our college. So, I've got 11. They have 397. We want to give credit to people. Those are the people to give credit for all they've done and all that they've given and all that you've done to help support us and make us a great part of the community. So we've got a great story to tell. We've been recognized nationally now by U.S. News as the best value college in the North. They don't know where the North is, obviously, but they do know where great value is. I will tell you, they got their geography a little off. But it is an incredible honor to be able to pass the gavel on to Julia Jasken. When I first came to the college, the first two things I learned about Dr. Jasken, Julia was in our English department, and I'm an English professor too, so we had that connection immediately. She was teaching this course to help people who wanted to learn how to develop media for community agencies. So she was out there, and our students were partnering with dozens of nonprofits throughout the area, helping them to create digital media platforms and be able to communicate. And I saw her work in the class. I saw what she was doing with students. And when we launched something called the Center for Experience and Opportunity to give every one of our students a chance to do what you heard Ben tell you this morning our students were doing for his organization, Julia came to me and she said, hey, I think I know how to do that. And she was our first director of the Center for Experience and Opportunity. She then became our provost, and now it's my pleasure to introduce the 10th president of McDaniel College, Dr. Julia Jasken.
Well, is this on? Okay. All right, thanks so much, Roger, and it's really great to be here with all of you. I thought that I would just give you a little bit of an overview of sort of where we've been here with all of our COVID operation, some of our plans for this summer, and then moving into the fall. I know we're all weary of COVID, but it's nice to be talking in the past tense about some of these things. So in terms of what happened on our campus over the last 8 months in terms of our COVID numbers, we ended up with 92 students who ended up testing positive. That's out of 1,066 who were residential on our campus. We feel pretty good about that number. 8.8% or so of our students ended up positive. Incredible work with our community, McDaniel community, keeping the rest of our population safe, keeping those students fed and cared for. In terms of quarantine, we had about 3 students quarantining for every 1 student who was isolating. So the number there was 299 quarantining. We were trying to get to 300. We just couldn't quite make it, but 299 is where we ended up, and we'll just have to suffer through that one. Great partnership with Ed Singer and the Carroll County Health Department. I can't say enough. There's no doubt we would not have been able to offer a residential experience if it weren't for that partnership. So, give him a hug, a safe hug here if you see him. So we also were able to vaccinate 192 of our students before they left campus. There was a clinic that Ed enabled us to have on campus for them, so that was very exciting for us as well. On the athletics front, we somehow managed to get a little mini season in for our athletes. It's one of those things that was hard for me as a professor to realize. It took me about 4 years in to realize that, for all of our students, what they're doing in the classroom isn't maybe always the most important thing to them. For some of our students, athletics is just as important as what they're learning in that classroom, and the amazing things that they learn on the field, serve them well when they leave McDaniel. So we were able to have 6 weeks of an athletic season for our spring athletes. And one of the things that we thought was going to happen was that we would see a spike in cases, right? We were really nervous about that. And actually what we found out was the opposite happened, that the cases with our athletes, once they started playing, it went to virtually 0. And I think that speaks to the dedication and how much it mattered to them to be able to play. And so they really did what they they needed to do, which was great. So in terms of the fall, the NCAA has made the announcement that if students are vaccinated, we don't have to do the kind of testing that we had to do this spring. That was one of the hardest things for us. We had to have an outside vendor do that work. And so, that really speaks to being able to launch a successful fall season if we can get our athletes vaccinated. So Roger talked a little bit about graduation. I don't know if you have a chance to drive through campus on your way home, but you should, because the field is now our commencement ceremony location. So we hope, we keep watching the weather. We got a 20% chance of rain, and we're going to work through it. Working with meteorologist Justin Burke. He's on speed dial right now. Like, how's it going, Justin? But he's really helping us make sure that there is no lightning. That's really what we're looking for there. We are, right after graduation, going to be moving over 10,000 pieces of furniture from the mall back to campus. So that was a massive effort to de-densify our campus. I'm never going to use that word again, de-densify. I'm tired of that word. But so that's great. We haven't yet made a decision on requiring the vaccine for our McDaniel community. We're in the process of that, so that information should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's really hard to think about leading a congregate living facility and having it be a safe space for all of our employees and students if we don't require, but we're still working through that issue. So we are incredibly excited and looking forward to the city once again supporting us in the education of our students through community engagement, internships, part-time jobs, practicum placements in the K-12 schools. And I love the shout out in terms of what those internships mean to the companies, because they mean even more to the students in terms of their education. So really looking forward to getting back to all of that, especially the Boys and Girls Club. Beth, we really want to get our students back there. They love the Boys and Girls Club students, and so we're looking forward to that as well. I have already spoken with our new mayor, Mona Becker, about some ideas that she has for partnerships. I was looking around for her, and then I thought, she's got a job in addition to being mayor. So that's why she's not here, right? So, that's exciting. Lots of creativity there. And was talking to our communications and marketing departments who are working right now with the city to bring the McDaniel flags that are in the sidewalk. We're going to get new flags put on the sidewalk as kind of a refresh for the partnership between McDaniel and the city. So just a last couple pieces of information. We have a brand new senior leadership team coming on board. It's a literal changing of the guard. Not only is Roger leaving us, but we have several retirements in our senior leadership team. So Rosa Rivera Haina is going to be replacing me as provost. She is amazing. She comes to us from Our Lady of the Lakes in San Antonio and has a specialty in STEM initiatives and student success. So we are looking forward to all that she's going to be bringing to our campus. We also have a new Vice President of Finance and Administration. His name is Eric Simon, and he has most recently served as Chief Business Officer at the University of North Carolina in Wilmington. He has broad experience in both finance and administration, so he's going to be a great addition to our team. We have an interim Vice President coming in. William Torrey is his name. He has a long career in institutional advancement. I'm going to learn a lot from him. I'm very excited. His longest term was as a VPIA at Bowdoin College. And then finally, we have a new athletic director as well. And his name is Adam Hertz. He's been our interim for a couple months now, 2 months maybe. He's the reason that we were able to get back to playing spring sports, so I'm thrilled. He most recently served as the athletic director at Swarthmore. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a little school down the road. In closing, just want to say that this is really a bittersweet time for me. as excited as I am to bring on this new senior leadership team who's going to be just wonderful, and as bright as I know McDaniel's future is, I would be remiss if I didn't end by acknowledging the incredible legacy of Roger Casey. This is so dumb. My husband said, "Do not crack up." I was like, "I'm not gonna, that's stupid." There is no one on campus that I have worked with more closely over the years. I consider him not only a colleague and a mentor, but a dear friend. So he has left an incredible legacy, and I'm so proud to have been part of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We actually have time for questions. Anybody have any questions? There must be some questions. We're just all excited to be here. Still kind of in shock that you can see everybody's face. Yeah, we've been doing leadership Carroll all year long with masks on, but we've all been there live. This last time, we didn't have any masks. It was outside, and I literally was having a hard time recognizing some of the folks without the mask. It's like, and who are you again? So, well, thank you both so much for all you've done for this community and for being here with us today. How about another round of applause? Also want to thank our chair and MC and sponsor, Mr. Steve Aquino. Good job, Steve. And our other sponsors, former councilman, past chair of the board, President Crawford Yingling Insurance, Ben Yingling. Give him a round of applause. And Richard from CMC. These guys have been amazing for us. I mean, you got to imagine, we're a group that does things face to face. That's what we do. We build relationships. And for the last year plus, we've had to do things through Zoom and all these other things. And all of our events that we've done through Zoom, Richard and his team have been able to stream them live for us. So not only are we getting a large audience to watch it, but then they show it time and time again. And I know you guys have probably all watched all of our events 4 or 5 times, but, I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been great. You guys have been great. Couple announcements for you real fast. Leadership Carroll class of 2022 is sold out. We have about 3 people on the waiting list, but if you're interested, get an application in. Sometimes things can change, or we'll be first on the list for the next year. In August, we're going to have our 10th annual Carroll Biz Challenge. This is a great event. It's like Shark Tank. It's for local entrepreneurs. Last year, we had 29 applicants in spite of all that was happening. We're taking applications through the end of May, and I think this year we're already up to about 28. I mean, like at this point. And normally we give $5,000 in cash for the winner. This year, because it's our 10-year anniversary, we're giving $10,000 in cash and about $24,000 in other things, including a new website and all kinds of stuff. So if you know anybody who's got a business that they've just opened maybe in the last year in Carroll, or one that they're thinking that they'd like to open, please have them apply. It is completely free. And we have last year's winner in the back with us, Mr. Jeremy Willett of Willett Family Farms. I just noticed him. Very cool. All right, a couple little odds and ends. There's a little placard, whatever you want to call it, on everybody's table with upcoming events. You can see the May 21st Chat with the Chair has been canceled. We're going to look to do it live at some point here pretty soon. Everything else is pretty much legit on there. We've got a really cool live meet and greet at the Town Mall on May 25th, and that's going to be for anybody who's a newer member. I think we've got, Becky, how many do we have? 20 new members at the mall with like a table. It's a great thing to come to, just kind of chilling. It's another live thing. And I should thank the 2 people from the chamber. We've got Miss Peggy Soper. Thank you for your help with this. And for any of you, and that's probably most of you who've actually never met her, we have a new employee. I say new, but she started about a week before COVID, and that's Miss Becky Seek. Becky, stand up. Becky's our community engagement manager, and she's been doing a great job, so thank you. And see, I don't even tease that you brought the actual COVID thing with you anymore. I used to say she started a week later, COVID hit, everybody went home. So June 8th is our Leadership Carroll commencement. It's going to be at Martin's. Ought to be really good. We still have some space open. You should definitely get a ticket for that. August 27th is the Carroll Biz Challenge, and hopefully we'll be able to have a full house. So. And then October 1st is our golf outing. And the only other thing is we're back to doing some trips. As I'm hearing, international trips are starting to open up a little bit more. So we're not doing anything. Well, we still have the Amalfi Coast of Italy in October of this year, but I'm not pushing it that hard. We've got about 10 people signed up. If you're interested and you really want to dive in, we can hook you up with that. But next year, we can hook you up with that. Next year, in March, we're going to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. Now, that's a good trip. I'll be there. Little Guinness. The Guinness is on me. What? What? Say it again. Oh, imagine that. Oh, yeah, imagine me going to Ireland. Yeah, what can I tell you? And then we're doing Greece in October of next year. So we've got a couple great trips. Other than that, did I miss any announcements from anyone? I want to thank you all again for being here, and keep an eye out for all the upcoming events. And once again, thank you both for speaking. And the meeting's adjourned. Thanks.